Welcome to Capture the Reps podcast, the podcast for fitness creatives by fitness creatives. Each episode, we will dive into techniques, strategies, and behind-the-scenes stories to help fast-track your career. Whether you're behind the camera or in front of it, this is the space to grow, create, and connect. Hit it, Sam.
I appreciate you taking the time, especially after diving in all the editing you've probably done this weekend through Magic City, which, let me tell you, I sat back, I had serious FOMO, just like looking at the photos and everything like that you put out. I mean, you did an incredible job. So that was actually part of the reason why I wanted to talk to you, figure out, hear about your journey.
Sure. I appreciate that. Photo packages went out today, actually. So
there we go.
Check your emails.
Check your emails. That's it. But cool. Yeah. So, obviously Magic City wasn't like your first time working in like the CrossFit space and stuff like that. So I'm curious as to hear like your journey picking up a camera, you know, if there's some type of origin story or first time that you really, started using your camera.
Kind of a unique origin story, so to speak. But I've always kind of been interested in photography, like, I don't know, growing up, but I never picked up a camera. So I was like that expensive hobby, kind of like golf. But when I joined my gym, I think it was like 2021, my gym owner actually would always like take photos of the class and stuff like that. And I remember my first class that I went to, like I ended up on the Instagram, like, I don't know, carousel or whatever. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, I'm just an average guy. And the next thing I know, like my mug's there. So I was into rock climbing at the time, and I still dabble occasionally. And I had the idea, like, it'd be really cool to do what my gym owner is doing for my friends who rock climb. So I think it was like fall of like 2022, I want to say. I bought like a little APS-C. I think it was a Sony 6500, and never used it. I tried it. I was like, I'm going to learn manual. I'm not going to shoot auto. And I took it to the gym once. Tried to shoot my buddy doing like burpee box jump overs, like some little like Metcon he was doing, and it was trash, like no exposure, anything. I was like, this kind of sucks. So it just kind of sat on my shelf. And later in the summer of 2023, I was supposed to do like a team competition locally in Akron, Ohio. And during the open, I found out I had AFib. So like for those like that don't know, it's just like an irregular heartbeat. I think Mars actually had something like that, and like Vellner. It must be a CrossFit thing. So
I hope not. I hope it's isolated.
well, it's either high like fitness activity or excessive caffeine consumption. Both go hand in hand with the.
Oh boy, that's not ideal. You just described my like every single day. All right, awesome.
Yeah. So like I went to the doctor, got checked out. They're like, you're too young to have this. And I was like, well, let's fix it. And they're like, well, you can do meds or we can do this like ablation. So I had to have an ablation surgery. It's like kind of non-invasive, but like knock you out, go into your heart, fix the heart rhythm. But because I was on blood thinners for it, I couldn't compete. And we had like, I don't know, 7, 8 different teams competing at this competition. And my gym owner knew I had a camera. And he's like, hey, do you want to shoot our teams like competing at this comp and just like be a part of the crew and like hang out with everybody, even though you can't compete? I said, okay, sure. And it was like in a stadium, so it was like broad daylight. So like, it's not like lighting was hard. I think I probably put it in absolute priority and just, called it a day. Yeah. But it was really cool. Like being out there, I got permission from the event owner to like be on the field. Got to meet the photographer that was actually shooting the event. And I had a good time doing it. And then after I got my first taste of editing all night, getting the photos for everybody, and people in my gym loved them, and which is amazing because I look back now and I kind of cringe. But
we all do. It was kind of, listen, that is a very like familiar type feeling of like you look back at stuff you did when you first started and you're like, whoa.
Yeah. So, but it was cool. I was like, oh, people actually like this. I had a fun time doing it. And it was the first time I had like a creative outlet, like basically my I guess you could say my entire life. I've like dabbled playing guitar. I'm terrible at it. You know what I mean? It like everything I've done is like physical activity, like mountain biking, climbing, CrossFit, Spartan races, you name it. So during this whole AFib experience, when you can't do physical activity and stuff like that, having like creative outlet was awesome because like I could channel, like that energy into something else. And I also have like an addictive personality. So I dove head in. I went to the school of YouTube, essentially watched everything I could. It was kind of hard to find stuff like in the CrossFit space, like CrossFit media space. I watched a lot of like I can't say his name. The guy from Australia, Vakey, I want to say. Like back in the day, he used to like put out like a lot of like behind the scenes content. I thought that was really cool. And then, anything that was teaching you how to work a camera, I was consuming it and been kind of going from there.
No, that's awesome. I mean, we're very similar into that. Like I had probably like a couple individuals that I could rely on for information, but it was primarily me random late nights saying yes to a project and being like, all right, now I got to figure out how to actually do this, and just going on YouTube and typing stuff in, and like, stuff as simple as like how to film outdoors, just like stuff like that, where it was like, now we look back and we're like, oh yeah, we can do that easily. But it's cool to hear someone have like a similar journey with all of that, because not everyone goes a traditional route of like film school or, having some type of apprenticeship or something like that. Some people just find it. And it was cool that, granted, it wasn't great that the AFib happened to you. That's not cool. But for you to turn that into a positive,
silver lining.
Introduce this like creative outlet for you is a pretty cool origin story as to how you actually got to it, because who knows? You could have been just a professional mountain biker at this point, which maybe that's more cool for you. I don't know.
It's fun. Definitely the most dangerous thing I think I do. But no, yeah, it's been pretty cool. It's been a ride for sure, but I've gotten to like meet like a lot of cool people, and it's kind of like an adventure. I just like to kind of see where it's, where it leads me.
Yeah. And like what's helped you out early on? Is it connecting with other creative people? Is it like you were saying, that riding the emotional high of like giving like photos to like people from your gym, or like you did this past weekend at Magic City, like doing an event like that and being able to have that creative outlet? Like what's been like the driving force?
I don't know if there's like a singular driving force. Early on, I was just putting myself out there. I was like, okay, I found something I like. Where can we go from here? So I just started saying yes to everything. So like 2023, picked up a camera, shot my first competition. And then I'd say like 2024 was the year I was like, I'm going to say yes to every shoot. Like, I don't care what it is. I just want to put myself out there. So I ended up shooting like a newborn session for my really good buddy, who he and his wife, had a kid. I didn't know what I was doing, and they're like, we were just kind of winging it. And he's a tattoo artist, so it was nice. I was like, I'll do your baby photos, hook me up with a tattoo.
That's awesome.
That's a trade I'll do every day of the week.
We recently just had our newborn photos taken, so I know the amount of patience that goes into that. So you must be like a saint, because I mean, we'll go from 0 to 100, right? He'll be fine. Then all of a sudden, crying, hungry, going to the bathroom, spitting up. It's just nuts. So props to you for doing that.
The people that do that professionally are saints. We literally were winging it. I like talk about like YouTubing how to do a newborn like photo shoot before. Like the biggest takeaway, I was like, okay, let's feed him, and then hopefully he's like zonked out, and then we can go ahead and do the shoot. But I ended up second shooting some weddings, which was wild. Shot some like my very first concert I shot was like a music festival, which is a whole nother story how I got linked with that. But 2024 was just like a roller coaster. I was like, if it's an event, I want to put myself out there, figure it out. Got really into street photography at that time. And then in 2025, so last year, I did a Project 365. So I took like a photo every day and posted it to my story, just to force me to like shoot, get creative, and edit. So like every year I've kind of had like some sort of goal that's kind of propelled me forward and try to, I don't know, learn more, lots more YouTube watching, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that project, that 365 project, I did something similar back in the day whenever I'm going to sound like an old person here. when vlogs were popular on YouTube. I don't know if you
Sure.
remember that, Chase.
Like,
So like I
Casey
made
Neistat?
so I made a video this was like, I was using like a point and shoot camera, like 2
Sure.
GoPros. My phone probably. But I would go around making a daily video of my day, a vlog, for 130 some odd days. Every time I tell the story, the number casually goes up a little bit, because it's like one of those classic things. Like, if you have some type of feat, like, as a man, you jumped off of a cliff, that cliff just continually gets bigger. So I don't know the exact number, but what was your main takeaway then? Because obviously that had to force some creativity, because you can't take the same photo over and over again. Like, what did you learn going through that? And like, how would you advocate that for someone else? Because I think that's like lost right now. People aren't doing like those types of things. They're just,
Well, I think it kind of like piggybacked off of like my Instagram, like, because I don't like, I don't care about trends really. Like things are really cool, but I use my my Instagram basically just as a document of my progress learning photography, right? So like I'll post, if I shoot like a concert, I'm going to post those photos. But I actually say like I'm genre fluid, like in my little like bio, because I'm not going to like niche down in like CrossFit. People are like, you should just niche down CrossFit, you'll grow your audience. And that's probably true. So like if you follow me on Instagram, like some people are like concert photographers, other people are in the fitness space. But anyways, I wanted it for me. Like I'm just doing it for me. If people want to like follow along and see what I'm shooting, that's dope. It's not like a prerequisite. But for my project 365, it was kind of like, okay, let me do this and like showcase kind of what I'm doing right now to everybody. Because the goal was to make a photo book at the end of the year of everything that I did. And I made one photo. It's sitting on my desk right now. That stuff is expensive. Holy shit. But I wanted to like sell it and all this jazz. But it was nice to at the end of the year have like something tangible where I actually printed out my work and I can like show it to friends and family and be like, hey, I did this every single day. And it was kind of cool that you within like an album you could kind of see progression from like January when I started through like December, and kind of like how your eye evolves, so to speak, in your editing style too. Like my editing style is like Jekyll and Hyde. Like, shoot, if I would have edited Magic City galleries like on a different day, it would probably look totally different, right?
yeah.
But it's just nice to see that progress, and when you can like hold it in your hands, that's even cooler.
I think it's really cool that you have that level of vulnerability too, and the ability to be like, hey, like, I'm not there yet, so I'm just gonna throw out something. Like back in the day, you are there now, by the way. Congratulations. But
Appreciate that.
But no, like you would have like photos like back in the day, and like you're like, well, you don't allow comparison to what others are doing to stop you from still sharing your work, and I think that's huge, and I think that's missed because sometimes people just don't share their work. So like, this doesn't look as good as X or Y or Z or whoever, and they're allowing that fear to creep in, and then to your point, you're not able to see the growth, and you just got to embrace the idea. And I belabor this to the nth degree in these podcasts, but the idea of like, it's a 5 to 7 year journey, like just embrace that. That's
Sure.
so important, especially because you don't know who you're also inspiring as well. So like, you might have had someone that was just the local gym like yourself, and they came across your work as like, well, geez, if Brett's throwing himself out there, why don't I throw myself out there? Like, what's stopping me? And then that can lead to so many different things.
I actually have some friends doing their own like Project 365 right now too, so that's kind of cool to see.
Good.
You know,
Good.
but like I can't say like it was my idea. Like I got it from somebody else. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like
Fine.
It's more like passing the creative torch. Like,
yes,
it's a commitment, and I've had friends like try it, you know, and they're like, I don't have time to do this right now, and that's cool. Like everyone's schedules are different, and then like other people who stick it out, it's cool to like watch them do it and see like what they're capturing. So I don't know, maybe they'll influence somebody else down the line, and it's, you know, just a big game of telephone.
Yeah. And I think it takes off the pressure too, because it's like typically when, you know, you're in that environment, it's like, well, I have to get all of these photos and get all these. It's like, no, I only have to get one photo today. Sure. And then one photo for the next 365 days. So you can really take your time, and instead of like just holding down that trigger and just letting it rip, you can really like focus in on just all those elements that you probably listened to on those YouTube videos back in the day and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's what I think of anyway.
And it's cool because sometimes you could just like post like an iPhone photo and people are like, oh, you took it on an iPhone. It's like, yeah, you don't need like the latest camera to make cool stuff. And if no one, and I don't really care if people like, you know, what I post, like, I hope they do, because I like it. But one of the main things I've learned throughout this whole process is like the most feedback and like your biggest supporters are actually just like complete strangers on the internet. And that's wild to me, you know, because like the people like you know, whether it's family, your friends at the gym, they'll be like, oh, your photos are looking awesome and stuff like that. But like the people that are like really engaging with your content are I've never met in my life, but they're like my favorite people in the world. So that's been unique too.
Well, it's funny, like we know each other by our Instagram handles, right? That's like the age old like saying, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I hear you on that. Cause like I even had a couple conversations last weekend with people that, you know, are international, and it's like, I've never met them in person. They've never met me in person, but we were able to connect and have a conversation and talk about like creative stuff. And I was like, wow, how'd you do this?
Right.
This is really cool. And they were like reciprocal with that. And like, then we can all learn from each other. And I think that's what's different about really any other thing other than creatives. Like creatives, at least I have never felt as though there's like this big like barrier wall as to like not helping each other out. Like I feel like everyone helps each other out in some way. Like if you need another SD card, you run out of batteries, you forgot your camera back, whatever it is, like people will always have your back with that. And take the time to, you know, really spend some time together and help each other out.
There's definitely like, if you're doing like a CrossFit class, there's that shared suffering feeling. I mean, you kind of have that like in the media space too. Like we've all been in the trenches, the long days, the shooting, the late night editing, the 2.5 hours of sleep you might get, you know, before you're doing it the next day. And I think we're all like cheering for each other in some capacity, in most cases. And it's just, so it's cool to see like other people in the wild at these competitions, especially people who I've followed online for a while, have like people who have influenced my work. And like when I first started like doing photo packages, Carlos invited me to do TFX, the semifinal last year. I just remember I was like in a room with like people I was like following online forever. I'm like, holy shit, like, you know, these people have like been huge influences, and now I'm like sharing the floor with them. And that's like a pretty cool feeling to have. It's kind of like being an athlete. You go to Wodapalooza and you're standing next to like an elite athlete that, you know, you guys are doing like the same workout or something like that, but you're like, oh shit, like that's so-and-so. So that's been pretty cool too. To work with other creatives in the space that inspire you.
Yeah. And that you can ride that wave, right? You get, you're all of a sudden you're on the floor of Wodapalooza, let's say, and you're surrounded by people that have been doing it, some OGs and stuff like that. It's like, okay, like I'm here, I made it here. This justifies all of that pain and suffering, like, you know, working to get better, all that kind of stuff. And then it also, you know, because I'll speak for me, I feel like we're both kind of the same way with this, where it's like it ebbs and flows, right? Like there are moments where you like sit back and you're like, am I even good at this? But you got to remember the times where, you know, you're on those stages and you're around those people and realizing that everyone's going through that, but also realize that, you know, anytime that you're feeling down, it's like, wait a minute, like, you know, I've shot for this athlete, I've shot for this brand, I've gone to these competitions. And remember that in the back of your mind and allow that to bring that confidence back to you, because, you know, there are moments where, and I'm trying to think of like a recent example for me where I've just had like a moment of down, but it was just like, I've had moments where it's just like you sit back and you're like, what was I even filming today? What did I even do? Like, and you see what other people put out, you know, and you're just like, you know.
Dude, imposter syndrome is so real. Like I struggle with that all the time, especially since I'm so new to the space and stuff like that. I'm always, especially early on, I'm trying to be like, at least give myself a little bit more grace nowadays, in like finding my own identity. But like, I'd say like all of last year, truthfully, because it was my first time going to the semifinals, like, or any of these events, getting paid to shoot photo packages and stuff, working with incredibly talented people. And sometimes I look around, I'm like, what the fuck? And like, I don't belong here. You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. Like I picked up a camera a couple of years ago. Why me? But then you like, you know, you do the thing and you get better at the thing. And then you're like, okay, I kind of, I belong. This is fun. There's a reason why I'm here. You earn it. So you got to give yourself grace in that aspect and just realize that we all have different journeys, different skill sets, but like you're where you are for a reason. And so I think I'm finally coming to terms with that a little bit, especially after Magic City. Like that was one of those competitions. I have nothing bad to say. Like such an awesome competition from everyone, from the athletes to the media team, to the experience, to the photos we did. Like I walked away from that competition. I was like, that was awesome. You know what I mean? So it's a full circle, like ebbs and flows, like you were saying.
Yeah, no. And it's just like my mind's going too fast for my mouth right now. It's actually very funny. I wouldn't suggest having a Celsius before a podcast. It does kind of wake you up a little bit to the nth degree. But no, I've had it. I just think back to like when the people that gave me the first opportunities, like at least in the CrossFit space, like I'm like, what did I do to even get here? And you kind of have those imposter syndrome like thoughts and stuff like that. But almost the fake it until you make it is so important in those scenarios because, obviously they did see something in you, or they identified, they like your style, they like this, they like that. There's a reason why they hired you in the first place. And like, you have to remember that in the back of your mind whenever you do go on, to these gigs and things like that. But yeah, let's talk about Magic City. Cause I love the entire team, what they put out this weekend. Especially, I'm like looking through because I bookmarked like a bunch of them and I was like sharing them from our account. But yeah, what was your like overall experience? What did you enjoy from your aspect and all that kind of stuff? Cause I know Brandon did a great job, obviously, putting all of you guys together.
Yeah. Brandon's awesome. He's a legend and he's super fun to work for.
You can, if you want, we can cut this. You can actually give us the real down low if you want. Right.
No, man, he cracks me up. He's one of those guys that, he's like one of those guys that, whenever, I first got, into the space, I was like, oh shit, that's someone I've been following for a while too. Him and Enrique, actually. Enrique was like one of the first people I followed. Yes. And I just remember being at TFX and I was like, holy shit, like I'm working with Enrique. Now I'm like rooming with him at these like events and stuff like that, and we're like busting each other's balls. It's wild, like the path people have. But hats off to Micah, who runs Magic City, because that team did a phenomenal job. Like I thought the programming was super fun for like to watch as a spectator, and like someone that was capturing the events, like their take on these like old school like CrossFit workouts, but also like for the athletes to do as well. The venue was awesome. It was in kind of like a interesting part of Birmingham, so to speak, but like the arena, I don't know if like the photos that you saw with like the green seats and stuff, it was almost like a stadium. Super cool. Like aesthetically, that was super fun to shoot in.
Yeah. What kind of arena was it? Was it like a basketball type scenario? Because I saw the one photo that Brandon put up where it's like a rap album of him just like sitting in the stands that you guys got it.
So we were able to like go up in the rafters and like shoot down. And if we had like a slow heat, like I would try to like sneak up there and like shoot down, but I'm assuming it's like a basketball arena. You can really tell because the floor was stripped. But it had like that feeling, or like a hockey rink or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the other stage that we were using had an indoor track, which was wild. So that was where they were doing, I forget, it was an event that had a mountain biking in it and then some like burpee box jump over. So they did the burpees in there, had to run around the track, go outside. And then they did, I think it was like a 1.5 mile mountain bike loop. But at this venue, there's also like an outdoor football field, apparently, and like an Olympic sized pool. So like, yeah, possibilities are endless with that venue.
Yeah,
so
no kidding.
And that's like one of the things that like I've learned that makes really cool photos. It's just like really interesting venues. And this place had it all. And I don't want to say that's the only reason I like Magic City. I think Magic City was just like the people. The volunteers are awesome, athletes, shooting age group games, or not age group games, but like age group divisions in general, and like the adaptive communities, like they're such fun, like wholesome communities to shoot. You know what I mean? Like they're all familiar with each other in terms of going to different competitions and whatnot. And it's competitive, but it's like a family at the same time. So that like that comes through whenever you're at one of these like competitions or events.
You said an interesting thing there about the venue. Are there certain things that you look for in a venue, or like how do you get creative with a venue?
I mean, it's kind of hard, right? You're kind of stuck with whatever venue you're going to be at, right? I think having like a background in street photography kind of like helps. That's kind of like cliche to say though. I hate saying that, but like my favorite photographers are like street photographers. Even though like my street photography might not be like that great, I love just walking around and finding like different angles. So, for instance, like I had to shoot a wedding, I don't know, Christmas time or whatnot in this iconic venue that's in downtown Cleveland. It was awesome. And I brought along two of my buddies who are like local photographers. They wanted to get experience, but they're street photographers. And we have like this running joke that the best photographers you can bring or hire for your event are street photographers, because you're going to have like a different perspective, I think. So whenever you're going to like a venue that, you know, might just kind of seem like bland, or, you know, it's like, how can I get like a perspective or a shot that's going to be different than, you know, whoever I'm sharing the floor with or what other people are going to be shooting. And sometimes you can't, sometimes it is what it is. Right. But I think that's when you could really challenge creativity. And that's something that I like having fun with now that I'm a few years into this, know how to work a camera, you know, more or less. So it's like, what creative angles can I do? Or like shooting photo packages, you know, if I'm on the floor with Enrique, like what lenses is he using? I'm going to shoot different lenses just to provide the athletes with a different perspective. So sometimes it's just like that simple, right? If he's shooting tight with a telephoto, I'm going to go wide with like a 35 or something like that, because at the end of the day, you're trying to provide a product for the athletes, not necessarily like a banger for your Instagram, but in the back of your mind, you kind of hope you get one. You know?
You're right. Yeah. I mean, listen, I think it's okay to be, you know, especially with the amount of work that's being done, it's okay to slip in like a little banger every once in a while for sure.
Yeah.
So do you like walk the space beforehand? Like, what's your creative process then when you walk into that? Let's say you don't have the opportunity to see the venue, right? You like walk in, like, what are you looking for to get that type of street photography type shots and those different shots, and what then just going onto the floor and just getting athletes on the floor?
I don't know. I think it's just like framing. Like this venue in particular was really cool to shoot inside because of like the lane line. So like if they were doing like a handstand push-up, right, and you can get like a low angle with like the taped floor line leading to where, you know, they're doing a handstand push-up, that's something different than like maybe like a standard, you know, shot. It's like little things like that, or shooting through like the rig in a certain manner, or, you know, instead of shooting the ring muscle ups from the front, you kind of go to the side of the rig and you get that side profile. You can't always do that. And a lot of these competitions, I'm shooting photo packages. So like your goal is to, you know, get the standard shots right for the photo packages. Like creativity is kind of secondary. But you know, if you only have a handful of athletes in these lanes, you get your shots that, you know, you need for the photos. And then you have like, you know, 5 minutes left in the workout, then you can get like creative and go, you know, for some like different angles or something like that.
What is your strategy then with like those athlete packages? Because I've heard it like a bunch of different ways of like, hey, I'm going to cap out at like 5 athletes and just go really hard on those 5 athletes and maybe charge like a premium. But I've also heard, you know, the strategy of like, well, I'm going to be there all weekend. I'm going to work like a bunch of different divisions and get them really good shots at that level, but not charge as much, and maybe just get like a more of a documenting instead of like getting really creative and like in depth. Does that question make sense? I feel like it makes sense, but I don't.
Yeah. So when we do photo packages at these events, we're doing photo packages for the comp. So
okay,
as an athlete, you're gonna buy it. So unlike like if you're freelancing, like I think like a lot of people like at NorCal this weekend, or is that this weekend?
Yeah. So no, it's at the end of the month. And forgive me if I'm wrong-ish, but NorCal, they have like individual photographers that are coming there. NorCal is like kind of like what do you want to say, like advertising, throwing their names out there and be like, if you want photo packages, here's your people. So they have like approved photographers there that are able to charge whatever they want on their packages.
So that's like, I went to Fitness of the Coast earlier, like in February, and they did something similar. So they had their internal media for their stuff, but then you could do photo packages. So I went down there and covered the athletes for my gym, and then I sold like a few photo packages on the side. And I think like most freelancers are just going to kind of like find their own way, like whatever they're comfortable with in terms of the amount of athletes they want to take on. But I've kind of found my way into this niche of working with like the photo package teams for these events. So like whether it's doing beach brawl with Carlos or doing Magic City with Brandon. I actually volunteered over the summer for the age group games with Jacob. So it's been fun to work with different teams and see how people work, but we're always shooting for the events. So like that, if whatever athlete signs up, they want a photo package, they go through the event, and then we're like on the floor from, I don't know, 7 or 8 a.m. whenever the event starts. And then we're on the floor essentially until the very last heat. So, I mean, it's exhausting. Like photo packages are a whole nother beast. Like
It's a grinder. It's a grinder.
Yeah. I mean, it's because like the judges on the floor, they rotate out and stuff, but like we're every single heat, unless there happens to be a heat with no photo package athletes. So yeah, it's definitely a grind.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, having all of those different experiences, is there like one certain method that like speaks more to like what you like doing, in the sense of like what like stuff that sticks out as far as advantages and strategy that you prefer? Because like you said, everyone's different. So like there's no right or wrong way to do it, but I'm curious as to like your thought process through everything.
But I guess in what sense do you mean?
Like so I hear that you mentioned like working at like on the event team for photography packages.
Sure,
like, is that your preferred method as opposed to, like you were saying, with East Coast?
Fittest of the Coast. Yeah.
It's on the East Coast. Fittest of the Coast, like where you're going with your people from the gym and you're just, getting a few athlete packages. Like, is there a certain method that you prefer for yourself?
I don't know if it's preference. Like I like doing both. Like, cause I love having the opportunity to shoot. If I get like a call and they're like, "Hey, you want to come join this team, shoot photo packages?" Like, yeah, sign me up. Because as much as I like going and shooting, I almost just like hanging out with the team. Now that I've gotten to know most of everyone, it's just like cool to see like friends that you've made, like that you don't live remotely close to them, but you get to come down, hang out for a weekend. You all get to create. And I'm still like picking people's brains, when they're shooting, or like
Absolutely.
We're getting creative. And so that's why I do it, honestly, is to, meet the people, go to like really interesting venues or competitions. And then like the perk is to, be able to create content and create, photos for the athletes.
Yeah. And those like hanging out sessions, is there like any cool stories that you have like from the past, like couple comps or anything like that? And let's, try to keep them somewhat appropriate. I don't know,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't want to like spill any tea or anything. I will say Wodapalooza.
Hey,
Wodapalooza was interesting.
This is not a podcast where we do tea. We just do informational, fun stuff. So
sure. I mean, the media room's fun. Usually, the going out afterwards, whether it's the dinner or whatnot, that's usually like more fun. But Wodapalooza was interesting just because I thought like a hurricane was going to blow through this year. We were like stuck in the trailer on the last day when unfortunately they had to cancel the last day of competition, but yeah, I mean, that kind of sucks. But whenever you're surrounded by like really cool people with like great personalities and stuff like that, it's still fun, even though you're stuck sitting in a trailer with like 20 people shoulder to shoulder, and you hope the AC doesn't go out, Wait, I think wasn't Chase on here talking about they were editing shirtless? I can't confirm that happened.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. And he's got the fireman body and that kind of thing too. So I'm sure he wasn't, necessarily hurting by any means. By the way, he's full-time now, firefighter. So congrats.
No, shoot.
Case.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say I'm one of those people. I work a 9 to 5, and then like this is my 5 to 9 as well. So like I respect the hustle. So
Yeah. I really think there's more than we realize of people that are doing that same thing. And I know I do that. I know Chris does that. Holly, who's another photographer out here with us, I know she does that. There's a lot of people in the space that still need and still like to work outside of just like the fitness space and things like that. I think it's necessary too, just because, I mean, it depends, right? If you're full-time all in, this is the only thing that you do. Obviously you're going to make different choices or have different avenues. If this is like, hey, I do this as like a supplement to my, 9 to 5 where I'm a school teacher. I don't know.
Sure.
I could never be a school teacher. I don't have the patience for it.
I don't
but
either.
like something like that, right? Where it's like, it's cool to hear how everyone has like a little bit of a different perspective with that too. So on your 9 to 5, then what do you do 9 to 5?
So I work as a probation officer, actually. So
Okay.
you can argue that sometimes I'm a teacher dealing with people.
Yeah.
But so like I've been doing that for like 15 or 16 years, and
Wow.
I've had a lot of people come and be like, Brett, you should just quit your job and do photos. I'm like, thank you. That's a nice compliment. But I can't walk away like right now, like from like a retirement pension, healthcare and stuff like that. There's like a saying, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. I work to do the things I love, so my deal with my wife then is that, any money I make with my camera, I can spend on camera gear. And
That's fun.
As we all know in this space, we all have gear acquisition issues, so to speak. And I shoot Sony, so once I bought my first G Master lens, it was game over. Take my money. So now I've kind of turned into like a little like creative whore. So if I can have an opportunity to go and it like fits my free time, I can go and do like a shoot here or there. Like I will, because I'm fortunate to be in a position where like I'm not relying on the camera to like pay the bills per se. This is like my fun time. It keeps the hobby fun. It allows me to spend money that I probably shouldn't be spending as recklessly on camera equipment as I do. But like I still have my 9 to 5 to, put a roof over our head, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so not everyone can say that. And for the people that do this full time, I have mad props for, because I'm kind of in that spot now, like where I'm like researching, like, dude, like, do I need like an LLC? Like, I don't know this business back end. And it's
Yes,
pretty
you do.
like,
Yes, you do. Please do that.
Yep. Trust me. So we have a whole list of
Appreciate
things
all
to
your
do, but
assets. Trust me. Huge.
yep.
But
It's been a learning experience, because I didn't go to school for business, like,
Right.
so, and when I picked up a camera, I was like, oh, it'd be cool to like go to competitions and like meet people and shoot things, but you don't ever think about like the back end of it. And you're like, oh shit. Like, I remember like the first time someone was sending me like a W-9 tax form to fill out. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I just want to take pictures, man. So
yeah. I remember the what, the who, what are we, what? Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh man, this photography thing might have gone out of hand a little bit,
Yeah. I might dip my, like you said, the, what'd you say? Did you say addictive personality?
Yeah. So
you have that addictive personality. You're like, oh, I got a little bit of taste of how fun this photography thing is. And then all of a sudden you're up until 4 a.m. researching all these different things. Yeah. Makes sense.
Well, it's amazing how quickly everything snowballs, because you go from like buying one camera to then, I remember I shot like my first event. I was like, I need 2 bodies, right? And then so so you do that, and now I'm like, well, I have a 7200, but I need a wide angle lens now. And then most recently, like I've been shooting in all these like dungeon environments. I'm like, I need a couple prime lenses. It just doesn't end. Now I want to dabble in video, and then that's a whole nother like game over.
Hey, listen, I can help you out there. Now I learned a lot of hard lessons like at first, because then things become expensive props, in the background. No, I do actually use those, but no, it's really hard whenever you first start, because if you don't slowly phase in all of that equipment, then you're just buying equipment to just accumulate things, but you're never learning how to use that individual piece of equipment. So I really like what you said when you were like, oh, I'm going into darker environments, so then I'm going to get a prime. It's not like, well, I need to get all these lenses so I can be ready for any type of situation. It's like you have to kind of go through each situation and just like systematically add things, as you go on.
Yeah, it's like what purpose or need does this tool provide, right? And I'm not gonna sit here and say like I've been responsible. I have totally
I haven't
stuff,
been. So yeah, it's a safe space.
Like,
Me and you.
I buy shit because I'm like, oh hey, I saw this looks cool, and maybe I've used that item like once or twice. It is what it is, and like our kits evolve. But like now, like I've done this long enough, I kind of know what I like, what I don't like.
Yeah.
And kind of just go from there.
Well, it's kind of funny. Like you start at the beginning and you accumulate all these things, and then you fast forward to like a couple of years through whatever it is, a couple of years, you're getting more seasoned, and then you're like, how do I get less things? How do I get rid of some of this stuff? And it's like, it's the ebb and flow again of that scenario. I've recently gone through that because I'm currently in my house. I literally have like one room where I can have all my fun things. Right.
Yep.
I don't want to even show you what's over here, what's behind here. This is fine, but like over to the left a little bit over there. So being smart about your purchases is huge. Is there anything, do you have any like trusted advisors or people that you look for information? Or is it just like you were saying, just those networking at competitions and such?
So when I first started shooting CrossFit in general, like back when I had my little APS-C camera, there's a local photographer here who her name's Jill. Her Instagram's like at Beyond the Script, and she was like my angel. And Jill, thank you if you ever watch this, because I would just like message her all the time, and my gym owner Dom too, but he's like, dude, ask Jill, I don't really know what I'm doing either. And so like I would just ask her, I was like, hey, what do you think about this, that, or whatever, especially early on when it came to like pricing, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. So she was like super awesome early on. And then since then I've just, through like networking, there's been, I can't sit here and just like shout out everybody, but like,
no, I mean, it'd be an endless list, right? We'd be sitting here for like days.
There's definitely like people like, I probably haven't told them that, but like, they've been like mentor-ish, like allowing me to pick their brains, or even just like giving me opportunities. And those are the things that, are like, I'm super grateful for. And like, I hope to one day be able to like to do that for other people.
Absolutely.
I have like an interesting opportunity this summer. I get to lead my first media team.
Let's go. Which one?
Yeah.
The competition.
So, it's actually a local competition here called Survival Games.
Okay.
Fun fact, I used to be like a CrossFit hater. So like back when I was like really big into like rock climbing, I was really into like calisthenics, and my sister was a CrossFitter. And I was like, fuck CrossFit. Like the whole like kipping thing pissed me off, because I was like, everything was like strict, like I was a calisthenic guy or whatever. So my brother, I had turned 35, and my brother-in-law needed one more person to compete at Survival Games, because it's same-sex teams of 3, and he wanted to do Masters, and I had like I just hit Masters, and I would always do Murph because that was like the calisthenic workout, right? So I could be like, oh, okay, like fuck you guys, I can do this. So anyways, I did this competition, and we got 4th. I was like, hey, all right, but I understood after doing that competition, like why people kip, like why like things made sense. And this was in 2019. And I was like, okay, like this is awesome. Let me try like do CrossFit for a year and see what happens. But, like it'll be like an experiment. And then COVID happened. And so then I ended up doing CrossFit from there. But anyways, back to Survival Games. So it was the first competition that got me into CrossFit, and it was the second competition that I ever actually shot. So after I shot that, that first competition for my gym, I saw online that Survival Games was looking for volunteers for their media team, and I was like, sold, I'm in. So by this point in time, I had instantly upgraded my little APS-C camera. I think I bought like a Sony a7 IV. I was like, I need a full frame. And so I had my new camera. I was like, I want to do this media team. So my buddy Mike, who I'm friends with now, he was running the team. That was kind of like my first taste of like being on a media team, capturing an event. And it was kind of like low bar because we weren't doing photo packages or anything. It was just like shoot what you can, capture it. And so I've continued to volunteer just because like I like the people that put it on are awesome people. The athletes that compete there, it's just like a community. It's local, and it's kind of like my way of like, hey, I want to help out, right? And then this year, Mike was unable to do it due to family reasons and stuff. And they asked me if I'd want to lead the media team. And it's at a new location this year, which is right outside my hometown. So it was like fitting, like that comp means a lot, like special place in my heart. It's like right outside my hometown. So yeah, we're gonna see what happens.
That's awesome. No, I love that because you're gonna do such a great job. You would do a great job regardless. Disclaimer.
Thank you.
But you're gonna do an even better job now because it's like you have that emotional tie. It just has like a greater purpose. And then that origin story, like I really hope you guys tell that origin story because that's really cool. Of like, you know, if you do some type of like, you know, media team announcements, like, hey, our media team is like, you know, led by Brett back in 2019. First dips to stuff, you know, like stuff like that. It's like that stuff's cool for people to hear. And then especially if it's like a local comp, you have that like local feel. I'm sure it's a lot of like local affiliates nearby and things like that. Like that's awesome.
They used to market themselves as like the largest outdoor Ohio comp. I mean, it's legit. It's like 2 days. There's a giant like lake, so there'll be like a swim. I think this year they just announced this workout. It's going to be like a paddle swim event. So they have these boats you're going to do. I think it's a 300-yard paddle and then like a 200-yard swim or something like that.
Are you going to be out there in like a what do you call those, like scuba outfits, just kind of like paddling? Like
I wish that'd be cool. So like was it? Yeah, it was last year. It was the last year they used to do this at a farm, and the only way I can like describe this competition is just like grunt workouts. But they had like a pond that they would do like swimming, and then there was like a little dock, so I would go and like lay on the dock and get like right next to like the water line in terms of like the shot, and it was really cool. And I think that was like one of the first years that they had like a media person like get that perspective. So again, like that's going back to like street photography and stuff, like how can you get like a different angle? And then so everyone else on the team was kind of stoked about that angle, so we took turns shooting from the dock.
No, that's cool. Yeah, sorry, good.
Oh, I was gonna say I haven't been to this new venue that they're gonna be at. So it's a bigger lake and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to like go out there before, find creative angles and stuff. But it should be a fun time. I'm excited to do it.
Yeah. No, and I'm sure like all of that helps in, you know, your continued development, pushing new barriers, giving you new challenges, and I feel like that's all going to be like a positive. And then as far as like a new venue, that's got to be such like a cool creative experience, because going back to what you're mentioning on the idea of like when you first start, you looking at your old photos, it's like now you're introducing into a new environment for, you know, the first time. And it's like, oh, I can really tell like an awesome story here, or like really capture some cool moments, you know, as opposed to just kind of continually going to the same venue and doing the same thing for the same, like that's got to be kind of energizing, no? Like for you?
I think it's going to be cool to kind of like take more of like a creative director role. And I've always tried to learn from the people that lead like prior media teams in terms of like how they're doing things. So like, while I still plan on taking like shooting in some capacity, like I kind of want to like let my team of minions, you know, out and do the like capture what they want to, like what they can capture. Because again, we're not doing photo packages, but I think like I really want my team to like be able to crush it this year, so we can then kind of like sell the, you know, the comp and the event organizers like, hey, there's this option of photo packages, and we could like create some really cool content. You know, if we were able to do that. But with the team, I put out an announcement saying I was looking for volunteers. And so I have some friends that are interested, that are local photographers that have never shot CrossFit, but they're like excellent street photographers. And I'm super excited to see what they create. And then the other half of the team is like in the fitness space. So it's going to be like a nice mix.
Yeah. They're probably going to come to you and be like, what the hell are you guys doing out there? Like, what are these like what?
I gotta give him some ground rules. I'd be like, look, here's the thing, you know, like if you're not familiar with the event or the movements, please do not be on the floor. But again, it's outdoor, it's like very low risk, and it's a really good opportunity to give to people who want, you know, experience in that space.
In a different perspective, someone coming from a completely different thing, and they don't have any habits, they don't have any like routines. It's just like this fresh perspective. I mean, it'd be like if, you know, we dived into like rugby. I don't know why I picked rugby. I don't know anything about rugby, So like me taking photos at rugby, I just be like, what?
It's interesting you say rugby as your example. One of the volunteers that signed up is actually a rugby shooter. And I'm like, dude, I'm excited to see how you capture this.
Let's go.
Another one's like a wedding photographer, and I've like second shot weddings with her. And so I always joke around, she's like, oh, today's a long day. And I was like, yeah, across our competition is like 3 weddings back to back, like essentially, without a break. So I'm excited to see her in the heat. That'll be funny. But my buddy, Matt, I will shout out him because he's doing really cool things in Cleveland. We have like a photography community here in Cleveland. He basically created like a Discord, called it Forest City Collective, and it's like the space for like local Cleveland photographers to kind of like network. And he was the founder of it. And so through this community, I've gotten to meet like a decent amount of like local Cleveland photographers. So he's actually one of the guys that wants to come out. And so I'm excited to have him come out and like, shoot fitness, do something different. It's so like, people shit on Cleveland all the time. We have a really cool like photo community.
Terrible football team, but yeah.
Let's not go there. We'll see. I'm like a forever optimist because of being a Cleveland sports fan. But
I don't know what happened to all my Steelers stuff, but I had a bunch of Steelers stuff. As you know, Pittsburgh guy.
Yeah. You grew up in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers.
We don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do we need to talk about him? We just got him back.
Dude, I gotta get through basketball right now, and my Cavs choking away yet another season. So,
I don't. It's so funny in Pittsburgh. People don't know you have that split of like either you're a 76ers fan, or you're a Cavs fan, and like you're kind of just like you don't know. Yeah, I chose neither. Respectfully. But now I live in Phoenix, so I'm a Phoenix Suns fan. So I've been going through a lot of pain there.
That sounds worse. That's almost as bad as being a Cleveland fan, I think.
It's pretty brutal. But yeah, needless to say, I don't know anything about NBA. That's me. That's me. Like that was it for me. Like that, you got all of my NBA knowledge. I couldn't name any starting lineups. Couldn't give you one. So
see, I want to like weasel my way into being able to shoot like some of these events. Like I'd love to like go to like Brown's training camp or something like that and just like shoot for like a day. Like I'm trying to like CrossFit's cool, but like I kind of want to like venture out a little bit and in terms of like other sports and stuff like that. And I'm just like, man, I got to meet like the right people that are in like, working, even if it's like for like the G League. We have a NBA G League team here, and they play in like a super iconic venue. It's like this old, like, I don't want to say like Coliseum, but almost like a theater type building. It's definitely a vibe. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I'd like to, venture into some other sports, and go from there.
You're definitely romantic about the venues and settings, and I like that about you.
What can I say? I like a good backdrop, like, even though like I shoot wide open all the time and blow it out anyway. It's like, it's cool to shoot. I love shooting in like iconic settings. It's just fun.
No, absolutely. I was looking at, and it's interesting because there are some people that at least I've noticed that are doing the same type of thing. They're venturing out, right? And they're doing different things, outside of fitness and stuff like that. I really think it's just like shooting your shot. I don't have any because like I was looking at, again, I would love to be on the NFL sidelines in Glendale for Arizona Cardinals game, right? Like that'd be freaking awesome. Obviously there is a big barrier to entry there. So it's like, just got to network your way up. And like that Discord group that you have, I'm sure there's other networking and other groups you can join too. With that Discord group, I'm curious as to like how you guys set that up. Like, do you meet, like, is it like a monthly meeting? Is it more of just like a passive, just like group where you guys are posting your work type of thing? Or like, how's this set up? Just for people that, I don't know, may want to create one in their area. Cause I'm already thinking about how do I do that in Phoenix?
So it's my understanding, like Matt, so when he was in Memphis, they had like a group there, and he basically replicated that here. And it's just like a Discord server. Like, it's not like we're in there like chatting and like being like, hey, what's up? But more so it's just like a bunch of threads, right? So there's like a thread for, if you're into like automotive photography, like, you can, bounce ideas back and forth with people who are into that like topic. Same thing with like editing, stuff like that, like you name it. even like to the type of like camera you're shooting. Like if you're like a Fuji fanboy, we can talk about like recipes and stuff like that. So it's cool. Or like if there's opportunities, like someone wants to give somebody else, like, hey, I can't do the shoot, but if someone's interested in like doing this like couple shoot or something like that, like, here, go do this. And it's like grown like over the last couple of years. I won't say like I'm the most active member in there, but it's cool to go in and bounce ideas off of people now and then. But they do like meetups occasionally. So some of the cooler ones that we've done, like he networked with a guy who brought in this local like troupe, I guess you would call them, called like Array of Light. They were like fire dancers essentially.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, it was cool. Like they were like twirling like batons and shit, like literally on fire. And it was like at night, and we were on like this aqueduct like overpass, and it was just, you had like the Cleveland skyline in the background, and it just made for like some cool shots and stuff like that. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's a safe place to go and figure out how to shoot like fire at night in like a low light setting or something like that. So they'll do like various meetups here and there, and that's usually where I'll go and like network with people. And now I'm in with a couple of my buddies. We have a group chat. It's like literally called like Financially Irresponsible, and so that's just where we literally just like sit there and we like convince each other like, oh, should I buy this lens? Yes, you should, absolutely. Like, this is a safe place. Buy that lens.
It is funny how everyone has those types of friends.
Yeah.
Colton, one of my friends, he is if I'm thinking about buying something, I ask him a question. He gives me the direct link to either B&H, Amazon, whatever. He's an enabler. I typically am the friend that will justify your purchase. So like I have a couple, if Chris is interested in something, it will like let me know about it. And then I'll be like, okay, here's why it's a good decision to do that, because X, Y, and Z are coming up. And then you got this and that. And so I'm a big justify person. Colton's a big purchase person. So yeah. I think everyone has that. You have to have that. It's the fun part.
Yeah, sometimes you just need that one extra person to be like, yeah, go ahead and spend that thousands of dollars on this item that
well,
you
it's
may or
always
may not need.
Because like we're in a similar scenario with the wife, right? So it's like, how do you justify this as opposed to perhaps mortgage payments or this, that, and other. But anyways, not to get ourselves in trouble.
Yeah, right. Just edit that out, right?
Yeah, we'll just have Sam cut it. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, but cool. Anything? What do you have like coming up then? I mean, I know you have that local comp that you were doing. Is there anything else that you have on the calendar coming up that you're excited for?
So it's looking like I'm gonna go to Syndicate, just to kind of shoot. One of my coaches is qualified on a team, so I'm gonna go down there. Hang out with friends and shoot their team, and that'll be kind of nice just to go to a comp and just kind of like shoot for fun, even though I'll probably be in the nosebleeds trying to shoot that. Gives me an excuse to like rent a 300 or something like that. See, back to spending money, but
it always comes back to that. Yes.
Yeah, I got survival games that going on in July, and then Beach Brawl in the fall, I think so, and maybe some other things in the work. Kind of see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's cool. And then, what's the last part of your year here? Like what are you excited for? Are you like any type of new, like creative stuff that you're trying, gear that you're playing around with, anything like that that's interesting?
Nothing like that really comes to mind in terms of gear. I do want to learn video at some point, but that's the equivalent of like putting your mouth on a fire hose and just like opening that up. It's a whole nother world of from like photography. Dude, it's crazy. We're making progress, but that's something I want to start implementing down the line. Actually working with Brandon over the weekend, he was doing like the video postcards, and I was like, hey, that seems like a safe entry way to dip my toe into this without going too hard into color grading and all that jazz.
Right.
Well, I want to learn it. But
I think there's a lot of like transferable concepts, right? Like everything, framing wise, this, that, and the other. Obviously shutter speeds and frame rates are different and stuff like that. But I think for the most part, like, it's not as overwhelming as you think. I think the hardest part is taking someone who's never like put different clips together and be able to tell like a story and make creative decisions as to why to put this clip there, and then all those things. That's probably the hardest part. The other stuff you already know. I mean, yes, color grading's a little bit intimidating, but you know how to make an image look cool. So
yeah, I think like storytelling through video is definitely unique, and it's different than like, maybe like storytelling through photos, if that makes sense. Like, because I'm used to looking at like, how do I tell a story in stills, which you got to be kind of selective and okay, well, what's, you know, what wide shot's going to capture the environment, what tight shot's going to like, you know, showcase like emotion or something like that. When your photo is moving and you know, you have action and stuff like that, it's different, I think. So like it's something that I want to learn, because I think it would make me better at like taking photos. Truthfully, like I don't really have like aspirations of like going out and making like the next Dune movie or something like super like cinematic.
you say that now, but you have an addictive personality. So we could be talking 2 years from now, and all of a sudden you have this like feature film that you're like bringing me in on as like a third shooter because you're so accomplished. Who knows, right?
My cinematic 30-second reel for Instagram. No, but I will say this. Since like starting to go down that video rabbit hole, like I watch movies totally differently now. Like, and I probably annoy the piss out of my wife because we'll be watching something and I'll be like, that's a cool shot. I'll be like, oh, that's a cool shot too. You know what I mean? And she's like, what the are you talking about? And she's like, just watch this, you know?
What you're describing is what happens to me all the time. We'll be sitting there watching a movie and I don't know, I might just ignore the plot completely. And I'm like, oh, wonder why they composed that shot this way, or like what, yeah, it drives her nuts. She's very patient with me though, which is nice. But I wouldn't say we watch a ton of movies together. So I'll just throw that out there.
We don't really watch movies because we have like different tastes, like in terms of like the movies, but we'll watch like TV shows, like together. Like we watch like all like Handmaid's Tale and stuff like that. And that's a show where like the way they like frame and use colors, I'm like, this is incredible. Because I've tried to get her to watch like Breaking Bad and other shows that have really cool like framing and colors. She loses interest. But Handmaid's Tale, she was like, oh yeah, I can watch this. So it's like shows like that. I'm like, oh man, this is like creatively like awesome. So
and
I don't think that'll
it
go away.
exposes you to like different perspectives and different. Then you're like, well, how can I take that bit? Just like, you know, your street photography friends that are gonna be helping you out. It's like they're gonna be coming from a different perspective with the same type of idea. If you like look something up, you're like, oh, how do I incorporate that into my style, or like morph, you know?
There's this really cool YouTube channel. I forget who actually runs it, but I think it's called like Talkie Walkie or something. But talking about like perspective, like this is like what I'll watch instead of like TV shows. I just watch like random YouTube videos. But he will do like a walking street interview with somebody, like a photographer like in New York or something, and will like literally be doing like a street photography session while they're walking, and he's like interviewing them. So you get to like see like how people like look at a scene and then like take a photo. And they'll like actually pop up like the photo that they take throughout the thing, so you can kind of see in real time what they're shooting.
I'm totally gonna steal this idea. I'm totally gonna steal it.
Yeah. I was like, this is capture the reps like at the comp or something like that.
No, we came up with a great podcast name. My plan for everything, and just real quick, I definitely want to like add NorCal is to kind of do a lot of different things with this, and like. Sure. You know, the podcast itself and that kind of thing. So like, yeah, I'd love that idea of like walking around. So if I follow around like John Ish, whomever,
you know what, I kind of like, I've had this idea festering in my head, and I don't care if anyone steals this, because then I don't have to do it and I get to watch it. If someone
there's so many people taking notes right now. They're just waiting for this. This is gonna be great.
Probably not. They're like, who the hell?
They just pulled over. They're listening to this and they're probably just.
No, I think it'd be cool. Like, so like, shooting concerts and stuff like that, you'll see like concert photographers, they'll have like a 360 camera like on their camera as they're shooting the show from like the pit. And I'll say like having a camera like in a concert hall, like you get the best seat in the house for like the first 3 songs. It's super fun, and that's like a perspective that, you know, not a lot of people get to experience, and it's cool. It's easy content for like a reel or something. I was like, I should get like the, you know, 360 DJI camera or something, just slap it on one of my bodies while I'm like on a floor at one of these comps. But then I was like, man, that's like work, and that's another like purchase. And then, but that's something I think would be really cool, because I don't think anyone's doing that in the space, is to, you know, show like what it's like being on the floor during one of these events from a media perspective. Because like, for instance, like at Magic City, when they have like the live broadcast on. Like you're on a floor, and this is why photo packages I think is different than some other creative things in the space, because your head is like on a swivel. You got to stay out of the athlete's way, you know, who's trying to qualify. Like this is like their biggest moment. They're trying to qualify for the games or whatever. And like, I don't want to end up on a Hiller video, you know, being in an athlete's way, you know, like that's like, I do not want to be that person. So like, you got to stay out of the athlete's way. You got to stay out of the judge's way. But then you also have like live floater cams for like the live broadcast. And then, so you're trying to like stay out of their way too. And I'm like, man, with all this stuff, like the last thing I need is like a 360 camera, like falling off my hot shoe or something like that. You know, it's just kind of like risk reward. And then that's like, and I'm not there to make content for myself, which is something like I think people struggle with. Like you're being hired to, you know, do a job, and that comes first and foremost. And so I wanted to keep being invited back and having these opportunities. So it's just not the time and place. So maybe that's something people need to hear. It's just like creating for yourself is cool, but like, you know, if you're there to capture for the athletes, like they come first, or like your responsibility to the venue. But I don't know, like at Syndicate, when I'm just there shooting on my own, that'd be kind of cool, you know? So maybe I have to just talk myself into buying something new. So
yeah, I mean, I think you had it spot on. You can get like one of those articulating arms or something like that and just kind of attach it. And it's not about to be something crazy. It's just literally attached to your camera. You're just holding your camera and doing that. I've also seen people do a lot of this recently with like meta glasses and just having meta glasses behind the scenes.
I refuse. I can't do it. I think they look fucking stupid. They look so fucking stupid. Like it's a cool perspective. I can't. If you have them, sick. I can't do it. I can't, dude. It maybe like, I don't know. Apple will probably be the first company to do it where they look like normal glasses. But I mean, dude, they're so thick, and it's just like, I know you don't wear glasses on a normal day basis. Like, and all I can think about if I'm talking to somebody with them is like, you're recording me.
There's a lot of that too. Yeah, for sure.
Like hard pass. But with the 360 camera though, you know, you can just slap it on something. You can like reframe and post. Like I know like we shoot like a lot of like, well, at least I shoot like mostly vertical for a lot of these competitions for socials. But like, so if you're like turning your camera, you just reframe that in post and you don't really have to worry about it. Whereas if I had like an action camera, then it might be different. I don't know. I think I've talked myself into doing this.
Well, I like the idea of taking that hybrid of that like walking and like that interview of like what that person was thinking creatively in the moment doing the street photography, and this simply, you know, having like a little like a DJI mic that records internally and just like talking through things as you're doing it, you know, with that 360 camera. Like, hey, like, I was going to do the whole thing there, but I have no idea because I'm not a photographer. But hey, low light situation, I'm doing this because you know, and kind of go from there. Like I chose this lens because and then you kind of create little clips. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think like people are interested in learning, like especially like newer people in the space. So if they can see like your thought process in real time while you're doing things, I think that's like a valuable piece of content.
Well, think about back to the point, like we both did it. Think back to like when we first started, like we were so thirsty for knowledge that we were looking up anything that we possibly could on YouTube. It's like, if you could be that resource, and maybe that's the way you mentor people that you were talking about, like giving back. Like maybe that's your way of like giving back is like, hey, I'm just going to do behind the scenes. And like, I'm not going to do it for any type of like weird financial, I want clout stuff. It's literally just to help people out, you know? And actually it's like, it's helping people out, but it's also like testing your knowledge too. Cause it's like, well, you know,
that's the thing. They'll see me doing this. They'll be like, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. What are these camera settings? So, I mean, it could backfire, right? So it's like, tread lightly.
I was looking at it like, anytime someone like will give me feedback about a video, like I'm always like, okay, like, you know, if it's, I take it with a grain of salt. Like if it's somebody that I know very well and like is going to give me honest feedback, like good, they're probably giving me honest feedback because they're looking out for me. If it's some random dude on the internet, like maybe it's someone just trying to like, you know, just, what's it called again? Troll. I'm so old.
Yeah,
Brad.
I mean,
I don't know, man.
Dude, I'm old too. Trust me. And after I shoot these, dude, I feel like Quasimodo after these weekends of just being hunched over all weekend and shooting.
Lower back issues. Yeah.
I literally look like a bridge troll afterwards, just hunched over. But But shit, now I forget what I was gonna say. No, I don't really care like what people think in terms of like we've established this on my Instagram. I'm gonna post whatever.
Yeah.
I think right now it's just kind of like I'm already doing this on the side. It's just like, do I really want to spend the time to do something like that too? Which and like how quickly would I get like tired of it? You know what I mean? Like that'd be
Yeah, I
something where
don't think you could do it all the time. I feel like that
No.
would be, because like I think back to like those like, and I'm sure at some point with the 365, the reason why you still aren't continuing to doing it, 3 years later is because at some point you're like, man, I just like this. To me, it's run its course, right? I don't want to keep doing this because, and I think this is very important. Is like we're doing this for fun. Like we got to remember the fun aspect in this and like why we actually started it and like the creative aspect. And this is an outlet. Like if you're not doing this full time, like don't put the added stress on yourself to like do all this other stuff,
But I mean, also like the people that are doing this full time are probably the people that want to do something like that too, because they're about building like a brand and finding the next like cool thing to do or trend or something like that. I'm not saying like everyone in the space is doing that. It's just I don't know if that's for me, if that makes sense. Like I want it in my head. I think it's a really good idea, and I really hope that someone does this because I'll follow. You know what I mean? But I'll consume that content. I just don't know if I have the energy at this point in my life to make that because I'm already doing this. On the side, like I'm coming back from these competitions, I'm like editing after my full-time job and stuff like that. And after a week of editing, I need a break. I need to like decompress. And so like when it stops becoming fun and it stops, you lose your passion for creating, then, something's got to give. And I don't want to get to that point, right? Everything's still fun. I'm still like meeting people. I'm still networking. I'm going to these, competitions. I'm still a fresh face in the scene, so to speak. So I'm grateful for that, and I want to keep it like that. So it's just finding that balance.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Brett, it's been real, man.
Yeah.
Glad we got to
connect
and chat.
This is cool. Yeah.
Obviously excited for what you're going to be putting out here. We'll make sure I'll follow along here. But, dude, awesome work. Like, I've been following you for a while, and like we had that little moment at Wodapalooza.
Yeah. Trying to figure out how to shoot a palm tree, like I was like, I need to, okay, that's the one trend I was guilty of is, all right, I landed, I'm in Miami, how do I shoot this fucking tree?
Listen, sometimes you just got to call it out, right? You just got to call it out, like, hey, whatever, it is what it is. I'm trying to get a sick photo of a palm tree and I can't do it, so so yeah, man, glad we got to connect. I'm sure our paths are gonna cross again shortly here, so
I appreciate it, man. This was fun.
All right, see you guys.
Well, that's a wrap on this episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Capture the Reps podcast. If you're a fitness creative and you found this episode helpful, please share this with a fellow creative and keep creating, keep learning, and keep capturing those reps. We'll see you next time.